I'm a living legend in LA, and I'm a living legend, watch me walking, I'm a living legend in LA, and I'm a living legend, watch me walking, I'm known in the streets, watch me teach, keep the prophecy, got your Pharisees, cause these haters always clap to be a living legend in LA, and I'm a living legend, watch me walking, nigga. Sexy, even fit, and you're walking out the line, see, why don't you know these out and call out holy fire, that's the ball, I'm a second like Nehemiah, bills in the sun of Valentine, to the right, I'm a public enemy, just be, when I bring my name, you be, level WB, call me Southern Grand like AMB, I get free, Southern Content, that's what a slow beat, in a pair of my people, but they gon' be on my beat, something like a prodigy, toys like pop, they through my city like getting all about the on my check, like Prince, my son is establishing a monarchy, keep my turn, leave back the hall, be your body, more like to be, it's my real life, no comedy, no best thing, property, shout out to community, I know the feeling my father can't even raise me, when I'm correcting me, cause it done, say it for me, get off your ass, G, off the line like the sorry, I got this, I put it up there, go for body, go to try, be the ace, boy, I'm Gucci like Gucci, no limit, those soldiers and prepare for the hard, I'm a living legend in LA, and I'm a living legend, watch me walking, I'm a living legend in LA, and I'm a living legend, watch me walking out, no in the street, watch me teach, keep the prophecy, got your Pharisees, cause these haters always clap to be a living legend in LA, and I'm a living legend, watch me walking, nigga. I'm an out the hood, boy, I'm like your nation like it, boy, I'm shit here and every legend, boy, I got 0 times, man, things sound like body, boy, what's around, but the people need to put a news to it, that's the joy, I'm on through your speaker, about the big boy, they love me like I'm keeping around the murk park, it's just a name and dash, boy, I'm just moving on, I keep it beating to my first minute, then I push a T in the game, let's start feeling, and break down cash money with like a million, that's a little wheezy, your new shit just an X on my outer like breathing, catch me with my dog sound like super cheesy, I made out was practice, that's too easy, but take away attitude, no shade on a good day, next year the hard time, got me deep, I'm a living legend in LA, and I'm a living legend, watch me walking, I'm a living legend in LA, and I'm a living legend, watch me walking out, no in the streets, watch me teach, keep the prophecy, got your Pharisees, cause these haters always clap to me a living legend in LA, and I'm a living legend, watch me walking, nigga.
All right. Clap it up. All right, this is Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. You understand? It is Monday, the history class. All right. We are into the Feast of Hanukkah. You don't know what that is in Hebrew. That is a feast of dedication. All right. So the feast of dedication is honoring what the family of Mattathias did, the Maccabees, and the sacrifices they made and the examples they made to put their life on the line for their country and for their countrymen and for the Most High. You understand? So we're going to get a little bit deeper into that story and breaking down, what was transpiring, what was taking place. All right. For those that are on YouTube, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, just go ahead and make sure you share the class. If you have any questions, make sure you go ahead and type them in the comment section, and then we'll address them from there. I believe, Rom, you had a question that you wanted to address before we got into it today. You said it had to do with Hebrews 7 or something like that, right? All right. While he getting that, I want you to go, Yashar, go ahead and hold first Maccabees chapter 1. All right. So we're gonna really break down the history. Huh? Go ahead. I got you, brother. All right. Well, while he's finding what he's gonna his question, where we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Go to First Maccabees 1 and verse 1 and go ahead and start reading there.
Look at Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of
Chittim.
had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians, and Medes, that reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
All right. So for those that say that there is no history in the Bible, all right, let me give you a little spot of history, right? So the first version of the Bible that was transliterated into English was in 1611, right? So from 1611 all the way until I want to say 1820, the apocryphic text was included in the canon of the Bible, right? It was removed right before slavery was abolished. Okay. It made into a separate book. Okay, unless you got the 1611 itself. All right. So in this apocryphic text, you have people like how I just quoted Alexander. We know who Alexander is, Alexander the Great. King Darius. King Darius is the first emperor of the Persian Empire, the father of the famous Artaxerxes, who was made popular by the movie 300, right? Then you have people like Ptolemy, right? Cleopatra, right? All of these are famous icons in history. So it would make it interesting why this book would be removed, because it actually has dates in the apocryphic text, right? And it also has key figures in history. And it also explains the gap of where the Old Testament ends and the New Testament begins. You have the end of the Assyrian Empire and the Persian Empire, right? And then just picks up in the Roman Empire. Well, what happened in between there, right? That is why the apocryphic text is important, right? Furthermore, why is Christ keeping the Feast of Dedication in the New Testament, right? If the apocryphic text is not important. You understand what I'm saying? That would give no context. Like if you just had the Old Testament, New Testament, and it said, and Christ was keeping the Feast of Dedication. Well, where's the Feast of Dedication in the Old Testament? It's not. It's a sacrifice of the Maccabean Wars. Okay? All right. So keep reading. You got your question yet, Ron?
No.
All right. What's your question before we get deep off into the lesson? Go ahead.
It's pretty much like a breakdown of the Levitical priesthood, like changing from Melchizedek. Hebrews 7, I guess, starting at verse 5.
All right, let me get there with you. All right. Hold on, let me pull it up so they can read along with us. All right. You said Hebrews 7, what?
Verse 5.
All right, hold on. eSword is loading up. All right. So while we load it up, so the premise, you just want to understand the changeover or the change in the guard from Melchizedek to the Levitical priesthood, right?
I guess people that don't, believe in tithing, for the reasons being that, I guess they will come here and will say that since there are no Levites, in present day, why we should tithe.
And you say Hebrews 7 and what?
5.
5. Okay. All right. Let me share the screen so they can read along with us. All right. Okay, go ahead.
This is Hebrews 7, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Verily they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take the tithes of the people according to the law, that is, of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham.
All right. So what's your question about that scripture?
Well, actually, it's I guess the whole chapter, but I was just trying to start at a reference point to where, of course, reading above that, of course, Melchizedek was the first, person to receive tithes, and some people will say, okay, well, he had no mother, no father, so that's why he received tithes, but why we should give tithes to man?
Okay, if you could, Yashar, pull in Genesis where no, where the story of Cain and Abel, where they were given the first fruits. And then I want you to pull, let's see, I think that's Leviticus. Let me pull it up. I know it's at the end. It's Leviticus, I want to say 27 at the end. Yeah, shall return, blah, 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 blah. 5 years. Obedience. I think it's 27. And then redeem the field. Boom, boom, boom. Devote themselves and now say, hey, okay. Yeah, I want to go to Leviticus 27 and 28.
Okay, let's go to Leviticus chapter 27, verse 28. Notwithstanding, no devoted thing that a man shall devote unto the Lord of all that he had, both of man and beast, and of the field of his possession, shall be sold or redeemed. Every devoted thing is mostly unto the Lord.
Is what?
Mostly unto the Lord. Sloppy. Most holy unto the Lord. Verse 29. None devoted, which shall be devoted of men, shall be redeemed.
Okay. Keep reading.
But shall surely be put to death. And all the tithe of the land.
And all the what?
All the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is the Lord. It is holy unto the Lord.
It is what unto the Lord?
Holy unto the Lord.
Keep reading.
And if a man will at all redeem all of his tithes, he shall be add thereto the fifth part thereof. And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto the Lord.
A what shall be holy unto the Lord?
Tenth.
A what?
A tenth.
A what?
A tenth.
All right, no sweat. Hold right there. All right, so remember it said it didn't matter if it was of beast or of the harvest, right? All right. So you got what I asked for, you sure? Yeah, Genesis 4 and 3. All right, let me pull it up on the screen. All right, Genesis 4 and 3. All right, boom. All right, so now let's look at time frame. All right, so we're reading in Leviticus chapter 27 towards the end of the chapter, right? This is during Moses' time, right? This is what the Levitical priesthood kept. You know what I'm saying? This is under the house of Aaron. They were in charge of making sure the law was executed, making sure all the sacrifices were done, right? But here we got the story of Cain and Abel. Okay, read this. Read. Go ahead and read it real quick.
This is Genesis chapter 4, verse 3. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord.
Now, Okay, so we read the Levitical law, right? So the Levitical law was of the fruit of the ground, you're supposed to give a tenth, right? If you're not able to give a tenth of your first fruit, you're supposed to add a fifth unto it, right? That's what we read, right? Keep reading.
On concept, verse 4. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock.
Of the what?
Of his flock.
What of his flock?
The firstlings.
The firstlings, right? So the firstlings are the tenth that, like I said, that came under the rod. You understand? The first tenth that came under the rod, that belongs unto the Lord because it is holy unto the Lord.
Right.
Okay? All right, keep reading.
Of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. Verse 5.
All right, now quick question. Why did the Lord have respect unto Abel's offering and not Cain's? Anybody? YAHANNA?
Like so, because Abel's offering was the best of his harvest and Cain's wasn't.
Yes. So, but not only was it the best, but it was the first of the best, right? Go ahead, Sean.
Because it says Cain brought fruit.
Yeah.
First of the fruit.
Right. He just brought fruit of his flock, right? Not only did Abel bring fruits of his flock, but he brought the firstlings, the 10th, right? Now the question you have to ask yourself, right? How did Cain and Abel know this if there was no law? Because the question that Ram has is dealing with the transition of the law from Melchizedek to the Levitical priesthood. But there is no transition. The law has just been. You understand? Because right here we got Cain and Abel. That's before Abraham. You understand? And they know the difference between the fruit of your flock and the firstlings of your flock. The firstling is the 10th, the tithe, which is why his was respected and Cain's wasn't. You see what I'm saying? All right. So this is before Abraham is even born to meet Melchizedek. Right? Okay. And also before Abraham, all right, you got Noah. Noah knew the difference between clean and unclean beasts. You understand? So the breath of life that was given to us is the truth, right? That's what separates us from common men. That's what separates us from men today, right? Our culture, how we adorn ourselves, right? How we speak, how we eat, our dietary laws, our holy days. It separates us from the rest of the world. You understand? Like I got out off from work at the restaurant yesterday, come out of the kitchen, go into the restroom. I change into my priestly garment for Hanukkah. They like, where you going? You going to a Renaissance festival? No, I'm going to the Feast of Hanukkah. Oh, what's that? You know what I'm saying? All they know is Thanksgiving, right? But nobody in the truth celebrated Thanksgiving because it separated us from the rest of the world. You understand? So the same thing that separates us from the world today, the same thing that separated them from the rest of men then. The same thing that separated Noah and his family from the rest of the sons of God then. You understand? Same thing that saved their lives then, right? So in cutting a Christian with tithe, you understand, you're trying to break down tithing, I would start all the way in Genesis. First, with Adam receiving the breath of life, right? Then I will go to Noah, knowing the difference between clean and unclean beasts, right? Then I will pull Leviticus 27, which we just read, which is the law talking about the firstlings that come under the rod, which is a tenth, which is holy unto the Lord. Then I will go back to the story of Cain and Abel, which precedes the story of Abraham giving a tenth to Melchizedek. unless you know the law has been here. You understand? So us being a select chosen from Adam, all right, to Methuselah, right, to Noah, to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, it's always been a select seed that's been chosen, that's been given the understanding and the law of the Lord. You understand? And that's what separates us, right? So there is no transition, right? Just more of a carrying on. And when you say that, you have to know the history of what happened, why the Levites portion became the Lord, because they are the only ones that stood with Moses when everybody wanted to go back and serve false gods in Egypt. You understand? So, because they were cut off, right? They had no portion, right? But their portion became the Lord because they stood with Moses. You understand? So their executive office was of the Lord, being chief priest for the entire nation. All right, no sweat. All right, so let's get back into it. Hey, Ron, do me a favor. Call Audio and ask him for the login for Restream for me real quick, and just text it to me when you get it. All right, I'm good. Yeah, thank you, the water. Yeah, for Restream, the water. You have it. All right, text it to me. All right, let's jump back into First Maccabees.
Okay, this is the book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
And did what?
Slew the kings of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 3. And went through to the end of the earth, and took spoils.
And did what?
And took spoils.
And did what?
And took spoils.
Now, what were the spoils? You understand? Let's find out what these spoils are. Keep reading.
Of many nations.
Of what nations?
Of many nations.
Not just Israel, every nation they went and embarked upon. All right, keep reading.
Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
Mm-hmm.
Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. Verse 4. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries.
And did what?
And ruled over countries and nations.
Mm-hmm.
And kings.
Mm-hmm.
Who became tribute.
Where you at?
Verse 4 is like tribute.
Tributaries.
Okay, tributaries unto him. Verse 5. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Verse 6. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and he had been brought up with him from his youth.
Just drop down to verse 7.
All right, verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years, then died.
He did what?
So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
All right, so all right, so I got it, the water. So from the beginning of the campaign to the end of the campaign, you know what I'm saying? Alexander ruled 12 years. The 12 years that he ruled was his war campaign, right? Conquering from known Babylon to Persia, all right? Creating the Greek Empire, all right? So what you have on the screen, it says 12 years and 8 months is exactly how long Alexander the Great lived, all right? It says suddenly in Babylon, while busy with plans to improve the irrigation of the Euphrates and settle the coast of the Persian Gulf, Alexander was taken ill after a prolonged banquet and a drinking bout. 10 days later, June 13th, 323 BC, he died in his 33rd year. He reigned for 12 years and 8 months. And the 12 years and 8 months is literally the campaign that he did when he was taking over the known world. All right, keep reading.
Verse 8. and his servants bear rule, every one in his place. Verse 9. And after his death, and after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so that their sons after them many years. The evils were multiplied in the earth.
They were what?
Multiplied in the earth.
Okay, because like you got to understand in the book of Job that the earth was given over to the hand of the wicked, right? Okay, this is after we lost Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? So when we lost Jerusalem, you had the Assyrian Empire, you had the Persian Empire, right? And then now we have the rise of the Greco-Roman Empire, starting with Greece. Okay. All right. Let me put this log in real quick so I can 1 second. Go ahead.
It's crazy how that Edomite took over the earth and conquered.
Oh yeah.
Many nations.
Many nations.
In 12 years.
12 years. It don't take long. You know what I'm saying? The world's war wasn't it didn't take long. You know what I'm saying? The first or the second one didn't take long. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. There we go.
Yeah, kings.
Come from all over the land. You know what I'm saying? That's where he got that from the Persians, because the Persians, you know, they would come, you know, saying bow down to King Darius or bow down to Artaxerxes and pay a tribute of earth and water from your land, showing fealty, you understand, to the Persian Empire, right? That's where he got that from. Go ahead.
So would it be okay to say that they got that from King Solomon?
No. Why would you say that?
What I mean by that is like by them showing, like how King Solomon had people giving tribute to.
Yeah, but it wasn't. But King Solomon he ruled Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? He ruled what was known as the Garden of Eden and what became the nation of Israel. You understand?
Like rule the earth?
No, he didn't rule the earth.
No, I mean
like so all of these other nations like were ruled by the Persian Empire with the iron fist. They were ruled by the Greco-Roman Empire with an iron fist. You understand? Solomon was so wise that all the nations came to beseech him for his wisdom on certain matters, and also to test him to see if he was as wise as everyone said he was, i.e., Queen Sheba of Ethiopia, who they say that Solomon slept with, but that's nowhere in the records. You understand what I'm saying? All right. So let me first. Right. All right. So let me pull it up so they can read along with you. All right, what verse you at?
I believe 5.
All right, no sweat.
I'm at 10.
All right. So let me pull it to where they can read along with you. All right, go ahead. Verse 10.
What's the son of
His name is Epiphians. All right.
Verse 10.
And this is where we're going to get into our lesson. All right. So I want you to pay attention to these names. All right. It's very important. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. It's, verse 10. And there came out them a wicked root. Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
All right. So what I want you to pull up first, right? I want you to pull up that definition of Greece that I sent you. All right, when you got it, go ahead and read it. It should be from the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Yeah.
Okay, this is the definition of Greece. Grecia is Greece, the home of the Hellenists.
The home of the what?
The Hellenists.
The home of the what?
The Hellenists. Greeks and Grecians, however, are to be distinguished. Greeks are generally are those of Hellenic race.
Yep. Now, I want you to go and read the definition of Helen. I think that one's highlighted in pink.
Okay. It's Hellenist. The definition is under the Compact Bible Dictionary. Jews who made Greek their tongue, and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices.
All right. Now, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen. I want you to go to that page, the chapter that says Jerusalem on the eve of Hellenistic reform. All right. So just while he's pulling that up, all right. So remember, we're dealing with Antiochus, right? This is a real person in history, right? And we're gonna find out why Antiochus is so important, right? In realizing what's being done to you today was done all the way back then. All right. You got it, Yeshua?
All
right, go ahead. I want you to start at the beginning of the paragraph. Hold on. Let me
What's the name of the book, sir?
This is the Hellenization of the Jews, right? I forget the author's name. It's like Tetra. It's like a Turkish name. It's long as hell. If I think of it, I'll bring it back up. All right. Yeah. All right. So when you got it, go ahead and read it. Start at the very beginning. Right.
This is chapter 3, verse 17. Chapter 3, page 117. Antiochus III victory over the Parmenides in the years 200 to 198 brought the Jews under rule. We have seen above that this political change was not associated with any cultural change among the Jews, and that the traditional mode of life of the people of Jerusalem lost nothing by the substitution of Syrian Antioch for Egyptian Alexander as ruler of Judea.
All right, so understand like what's going on right here is the fact that Alexander the Great brought not only Persian influence but Egyptian influence across the known world, right? Because he wanted to unite one world religion, right? One world as a people, one world as an ideal, right? And this ideal is known as Hellenization. All right, keep reading.
But in course of time, the situation altered. And in the 70s of the 2nd century, there arose among the inhabitants of Jerusalem a new faction composed of Hellenizing Jews.
Composed of what?
Hellenizing Jews, which for several years held power in Judea and became noted for its strong adherence to Hellenism, and for it is unconcealed contempt for Jewish tradition. The Hellenizer converted Jerusalem into a Greek town, introduced Greek customs into Greek Jewish life, built a gymnasium, and did not even oppose the spread of the Greek gods in Judea. This group found its shield and patron in Syrian King Antiochus V.
All right. So understand what Antiochus did, right? Antiochus spread the culture of the Greeks, right? Which is the Hellenizing of the Jews, right? This literally supports and backs up what it's talking about in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, where it was Jews that adopted Greek principles and made Greek their tongue, right? So not only that, you understand, as you can see, they created gymnasiums, right? The reason why there's gymnasiums in every city across the world in multiple counties in every city is because we're still following Greek culture today. You understand? Like gymnasiums not only were supposed to be houses for workouts, but it were also houses for the men to go to hide their homosexual acts that they were committing. Like if you look up like the history of like Greek wrestling, it's homosexual eroticism. Right? They literally have a move in wrestling to where to flip a guy, you grab his shoulder and you put his thumb in his buttocks to turn him and flip him. You understand? That's how disgusting these people are. Remember, I told you last class, they a bunch of sodomites and booty pirates. All they care about is the booty. Butt bandits. You understand? This goes all the way back to Greece. This is the culture that they started. That's where the whole mentor-mentee relationship came from. Okay? All right, keep reading. They didn't oppose to the spread of Greek gods in Judea.
Greek customs into Jewish life, built gymnasiums, and did not even oppose the spread of Greek gods in Judea. This group found its shield, patron, in the Syrian king Antiochus V. Who interverted in the internal affairs of the land of Judea, and through the weight of his sword.
Through the weight of his what?
Of his sword.
Of his what?
Of his sword. Onto the scales of the party struggle.
You understand? So these are a people of war. You understand? The way that we were turned into the Greco-Roman Empire, Hellenized Jews, you understand, was by the way of the sword. The way we were turned into Muslims was by the way of the sword. The way we were made Christians was by the way of the sword. It was called the Christian Crusades. Right. You understand? The way we were made Muslims was during the Arab slave trade. You understand? It's the same culture. You understand? You have to deny who you are, you understand, to be included in the overall society to be able to function. This is what they did. This is what they're still doing today. This is what they did to the Native Americans with boarding schools. You understand? They would kill the men off. They would take the children and put the children in boarding school and make it to where they couldn't speak their tongue. They had to speak English. You understand? Made it to where their culture was derogatory. You understand? It was heathenistic. And then had them celebrate a holiday about the mass murder of their people. That's how disgusting they are. Dig what I'm saying? All right. So let's get back to it. All right, keep reading.
About the weight of the sword onto the scales of the party struggle, the scales of the party struggle, with his aid, the Hellenizers.
The what?
The Hellenizers were for a time in control of Jerusalem until another sword, the sword of Judah, the Maccabees, put an end to their aspirations and restored the old form of natural life, national life.
All right. Now go to the page that's highlighted in blue. Now let's find out how Antiochus was able to Hellenize the Jews. Right? Now, was it the Greeks that pushed this lifestyle on the children of Israel, or was it the children of Israel that did it themselves? All right. Read. Start where it says Hellenism.
Hellenism. This is page 18 or 118. Hellenism was not introduced unto Israel by the force of outside.
Hold on, say that again, brother.
Hellenism was not introduced unto Israel by the forces outside. Part of the Jewish public itself developed an attachment to the alien customs and began eager for Hellenistic modes of life to obtain a foothold in Jerusalem.
You understand? So it wasn't brought from the outside, it was brought from the inside, right? You understand? You divide and you conquer. You understand? Keep reading.
Now, if the aspirations to Hellenization arose among the Jews as a result of the eternal development of Jewish history, it devolves upon us to investigate the factors which led part of the Jewish community to Hellenization, and we have to ask, first of all, what was the motive of those who inclined in this direction? The obvious and simple answer is that their aim was to spread of the Greek culture, and that for them, Hellenization was based on their consciousness of the advantage of Hellenism over Judaism.
You understand? All right. So the reason for this is, right, there's always a motive, right? When you got somebody that constantly is pushing the agenda of another race of people, right? You got to ask yourself, right? Why they're pushing their agenda, right? Why was Jesse Jackson, when he was against abortion, all of a sudden come out and say it's her right to choose, right? What, like, he was vehemently opposed to abortion, and then when he came out to run for president, all of a sudden he's talking about it's her right to choose. What changed? What was his motive? What changed? Anybody want to give an answer? What changed? YAHANNA. Okay, so you're saying he wanted to appease the oppressor. How did he want to appease the oppressor? What was his motive? I mean, what would he get out of appeasing the oppressor? Okay, what is the presidential slot? What does that do? I'm looking for one word.
Rulership.
It starts with a P. It has to do with rulership. What does a ruler have?
Power.
Power, right? His motive was power. You understand? Like, so the motive of the Jews during this time had nothing to do with adhering to the rules of the Most High God. They wanted to maintain their high society amongst their people and wanted to keep their power, right? Rather than standing with the Most High and be relegated to poverty. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so let's go back to it. All right, go ahead.
It is a factor. It is a fact that the bearers of the idea of Hellenization among the Jews were not disputed among various classes.
We're not distributed.
Oh, sorry, was not distributed among various classes of Jewish society, but were entirely confined to one class.
To how many classes?
But were entirely confined to one class.
To how many classes?
To one class.
It wasn't to the low class. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't to the middle class. It was only relegated to one class. All right. And what class was that? Keep reading.
The ruling, what's the word?
Aristocracy.
Aristocracy of Jerusalem.
You understand? So it was only relegated to the ruling class of Jerusalem. You understand? So who is that today? You understand? That's your LeBron Jameses. You understand? That's your Oprah Winfrey's. That's your Beyonce's. That's your Jay-Z's. You understand? That's your P. Diddy's. You understand? Every time a politician wants the black vote, what does he do? Jay-Z said it in his induction speech to the Hall of Fame, how when Obama was behind in his presidential election, he called up Jay and said, "Hey man, I need you to meet me in Ohio." You understand? This is pivotal ground to turn the tide in this election. You understand? Jay met him in Ohio. They won Ohio. Barack Obama went on to become the first Hamite president of the United States. You understand? They go to the rich and the high class to turn the lower class, right? Because everybody want to be like Mike. If you didn't, that's why Jordans wouldn't sell at the price point they do now. Everybody want to be like LeBron. If they didn't, LeBrons wouldn't sell at the price points that they sell now. You understand? Everybody, even though they say Yeezy crazy, they want to be like Kanye. You understand? Because if they didn't, Yeezys wouldn't sell at the price point that they sell now. You understand? They go to the high society to promote and push a culture. You understand? They had an interview with I think it was Busy Bone from Bones Thugs and Harmony. How they said they came to him and they had a meeting of what the rollout was to change the narrative of hip hop, because before then hip hop was all concepts. You had your poor righteous teachers, you had your KRS ones, you had your public enemies. You know what I'm saying? You even had your boy what's his name? Good night. Jesus. The one that Zero sampled most of the Don from. His name started with R. Anyway, you had the Wu-Tang Clan, you know what I'm saying? But the agenda was to turn it to a gang-banging society, because what immediately happened after it was all about gang culture and rap, the prison system went into become publicly traded companies. You understand? So they use the stars of our culture to push an agenda and to push a culture that propagated and advanced their society, because their society advanced off of slave labor. That's what this country was built off of. It was built off the backs of slave free labor. You understand? That's what happens when you go to prison. You're a slave. You don't have any more rights, and you're relegated to tedious tasks like making license plates, breaking big rocks into little rocks, working in a salt mine. Go ahead, Yeshua. Maintaining the prison. You understand? Like, understand how evil and dubious it is to have someone every day break big rocks into little rocks. You understand? You know how hard that is on your back? Do it to the point to where your back give out and you're an old man and you're around here hunchback. You understand? Like, it's horrible. You understand? Or have you out here like in Louisiana, you understand? In in St. Martinsville Parish, literally picking cotton. They literally pick cotton. You understand what I'm saying? Or out here sifting wheat. This is their job, man. Nothing has changed. You dig what I'm saying? Keep reading.
This being the case, the study of the question shifts from the purely cultural to the historical and social sphere, and we may ask, what was the reason why the Jewish how you pronounce the again?
Aristocracy. Aristocracy.
Aristocracy at a given historical moment that is in the time of the ruler of Antiochus, Epiphanes decided to lead the Jewish people among the road of Hellenization.
You want to lead the Jewish people along the road of what?
The road of Hellenization.
You understand? The road of denying your culture.
Right.
You understand? To be a part of the major culture so you can get Section 8. So you can get WIC. So you can get food stamps. You understand? Like, if we going to be poor, let's be poor on our own accord and build our own nation. You understand? Versus being poor and being relocated and redlined into a district of poverty because we want to get along. It's better to die on your feet than on your knees.
Right.
You understand? Keep reading.
The more deeply we probe the social structure of the Jewish people in the Hellenistic period, the clearer becomes the fact that Hellenization was only an external expression of an inner historical process
Of an outer
inner historical process.
You understand? This was only possible by a inner historical process.
Right.
Right? You want to know why you keep Thanksgiving? It's because they tell you to do it in the Christian church. Because they tell you to do it in the Muslim mosque. You want to know why you celebrate Christmas? It's because they tell you to do it in the Christian church. Because they tell you to do it in the Muslim mosque. You want to know why you celebrate Easter, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, the 4th of July? Because they tell you to celebrate it in your Christian church and in the Muslim mosque. You understand? Right now, they are building in Jerusalem. You understand? They are building the one religion center. Look it up. They are building a one Abrahamic religion centered. They are trying to unite the world religions as one religion. It's the same thing. They're doing the same thing they did during the Hellenization. There is no Muslim. There is no Christian. We're one Abrahamic race. You understand? That is what we're dealing with. Hellenization ain't went nowhere. You understand? Look it up. That is literally what's happening right now. You understand? They've been past breaking ground. They almost done building this thing. You understand? They have 3 buildings, one for each of the children of the Abrahamic faith. Christianity via Judaism, Islam. I forgot the other shit that they have. I forgot what it was. You know what I'm saying? But it's an offshoot of a people's faith that's supposed to have ties to Abraham. You understand? This is how dubious this devil is, man. And if you don't know no better, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. That's why the scripture says the things that were written aforetime were for our learning and for our understanding. If you don't understand Hellenization, you don't understand what happened during slavery. You don't understand what happened during the Trail of Tears. You don't understand what happened during the first boarding schools. You understand? You don't understand those things. You don't understand what's going on right now with the uniting of all the Abrahamic faiths and religions. They just remixing it like a Sprite remix, man. Just putting it in a different bottle. It still got the same carbonation in it. Eating away at you. You know what I'm saying? Like the corrosion on your battery. You feel me? No sweat. All right. Now go back to it. Let's finish that page out. He said with the inner historical process at the bottom.
Okay. In the inner historical process, which in reality bore no direct relation to cultural questions.
Mm-hmm.
This process has to be studied for the correct appreciation of the
Philo-Hellenic
Philo-Hellenic movement in the brief period before the rebellion of Judah the Maccabees.
All right. So now let's go back to First Maccabees chapter 1. I think you stopped off at verse 10.
This is First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked group, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphans, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in Hashem at Rome, and he reigned in the 130 and 70 year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
What type of men?
Wicked men.
What type of men?
Wicked men.
You understand? And it's talking about the ruling class of Israel, because absolute power corrupts absolute. Right. You understand? This is why it was wicked men. You understand? Because they were corruptible men to keep their power, right? Which is what made what made Mattathias the father, and Judas Maccabees and his brother Simon, what made that family so powerful, because they raised up a rebellion because they dared not to bend the knee.
Right.
You understand? Keep reading.
Good, sir. Wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Make a what?
A covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Verse 12.
So remember, so this is the ruling class of Israel right here. This is what it was talking about in the book, right? So this is the inner parts of it. This is the ruling class coming to the lower class and saying, look, you know, it's hard out here right now. You know what I'm saying? I know you tired of eating beans and rice and beans, you know what I'm saying? Eating kush, you know what I'm saying, which is cornmeal. You know what I'm saying? I know you out here tired of eating, you know what I'm saying, like the lowest of the low. You know what I'm saying? You tired of just eating lentil stew. You understand? You tired, you ain't even getting beef stew. You understand? You got carrot stew. You understand? You out here trying to ration the low of the low, and it's like, I know you tired of it. You understand? I know you sick of living like this. All we got to do is just deny the Lord, take on the Greek pantheon gods, you understand, and follow the culture of this other nation. You understand? And as soon as they got them to do this, you understand, the culture would be forgotten. That's what happened then. You understand? That's why Christ, when he came, he said, my purpose is to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Right.
You understand? Because they had been cut off. You understand? Because it says Ephraim was tied to dumb idols. You understand? They were the ones that were saying, let's go follow these other gods. Let's go along so we can get along. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 12. So this device pleased them. Verse 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen.
To do what?
After the ordinance of the heathen.
So now, since they got the people to rally on their side, they went and got the ruler of Israel at the time, you understand, to allow them to follow the ordinances of the heathen, right? And one thing all of these other nations know is the moment they get you to deny your culture, they can conquer you. All it takes is one person to break the law, statutes, and commandments. We would lose a war. You understand? We would lose a battle. You understand? We would lose Jerusalem. You understand? We lost the kingdom because of one man, because of Solomon. The whole nation fell because of one man, Solomon. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 13. Then certain of the people, this verse 14. Wherefore upon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
And there you go again. So not only did we read a historical book, not from our culture, right? Not from our culture, but from the culture of the Turks. You understand? Bringing out the fact that they built gymnasiums, right? Solidifying what they're talking about in the Bible. You understand? These were areas to propagate their sodomite culture.
Right.
It wasn't a place of exercise. They was exercising, but what type of exercise that you thinking about? You know what I'm saying? You know, they was working on their cardio, all right. They was stretching. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, brother. Exactly. That is literally what gymnasium means. Naked exercise. All right? You know what I'm saying? Good night, brother. You understand? Go ahead, Sean. They booty bandits, bro. They pirates. What do pirates loot? The booty. You know what I'm saying? Savvy. They savvy. You understand what I'm saying? That is what they specialize in looting booty. It doesn't matter if it's cultural. It don't matter if it's financial. And it don't matter if it's physical. Go ahead, Sean.
Verse 15.
Con.
So verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief.
Okay, now with everything that we've gone over, finding out what the definition of Hellenization is, right? How can you become uncircumcised? I mean, once you cut away the foreskin, you can't grow the foreskin back to become an anteater. You understand? How do you become uncircumcised? Go ahead.
By following the ways of the heathen.
By following the ways of the heathen, known as what?
Transgressing.
Think about what the subject of this lesson is. The subject of the lesson is what? What are we talking about? The what of the Jews?
Hellenization.
The Hellenization of the Jews. And what is it to be in Hellen? What is it to be a Hellen?
Be a Greek, to act like a Greek.
Right. Okay. No different than niggas acting like Americans. You understand? So it was Hellenization then, it's Americanization now. You understand? So America, even though China owns majority of the debt in the known world, but English is the pigeon tongue of the entire world. Do you know what a pigeon tongue is? Does anybody know what a pigeon tongue is? Look it up. Somebody look up what. Go ahead.
I don't know for sure, but I was gonna say like the common language.
You close. Somebody look up what pigeon tongue is. What you got?
Is it like a bastardized version of other languages?
Somebody look up what a pigeon tongue is. Whoever got to go ahead and read.
A pidgin or pidgin language is a grammatically simplified means of communication that develops between two or more groups that do not have a language in common.
Keep reading.
Typically, its vocabulary and grammar are limited and often drawn from several languages.
Does it have anything that talks about trade and commerce?
It is most commonly employed in situations such as trade, or where both groups speak languages different from the language of the country in which they reside.
There we go. All right. So America is the pidgin language of the world. It is the language for trade and commerce in the world, right? Anytime that a language is the pidgin tongue of the world means that world has been conquered by that nation, right? It started with the Greeks. The Greeks did, through Antiochus, did the Hellenization. Now the world is westernized. It is Americanized, right? Doing the same thing that they did. In order to get a green card, what you got to do in America? Anybody, to get a green card, what you got to do in America? Go ahead, sis. What you got, y'all?
Learn the American way.
You got to learn the American way. You got to learn the national anthem. You got to learn the history of America. You understand? You got to almost denounce where you come from. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't no Indian American, Japanese American. We all Americans. You in America speak English. Why are you speaking Spanish? This is America, Jack.
Right.
Ain't that what the white man say? They get offended when Hispanics speak Spanish. This is America. Speak English. You speak the pidgin tongue here. You understand? if you're doing any type of trade, any type of commodity and business, you need to speak English. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to work out no side deals while we doing business. You understand? That is how wicked it is. Because to be a Hellen is to adopt Greek practices and make Greek your tongue. To be an American is to adopt American practices and adopt American as your tongue, which is English. You dig what I'm saying? No sweat. Keep reading. What you got?
To be Hellenized is to live the American dream.
Get that brother a hand. Get that brother a hand. You know what I'm saying? That brother said to be Hellenized is to live the American dream. You understand? All right, keep reading.
Is verse 15 or 16. Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt.
He thought to do what?
Reign over Egypt. That he might have the dominant dominion of 2 realms. Verse 17. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude of chariots and elephants and horses.
All right. So now let's get some history specifically on Antiochus. All right. Let me see which one I want you to read first. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So I want you to pull the one from the Encyclopedia Britannica that starts off with Antiochus the Fifth Epiphanes. All right, you got it? All right, so this is from the Encyclopedia Britannica. All right, go ahead and start reading.
Is this the international movement of churches?
No. It should literally say Antioch. It should have. All right, no sweat.
Antiochus forestalled an Egyptian expedition.
No, it should be from the Encyclopedia Britannica. It should say Britannica at the top. Under it, in bold black writing, it should say Antiochus the Fifth Epiphanes. And then under it should have the name of the person who wrote the article, SKYPE King. Quick.
Antiochus the Fifth Epiphanes.
All right, go ahead and read.
Antiochus the Fifth Epiphanes, Greek God manifest, also called Antiochus.
So that is what his name means. His name means Greek God manifest. So that's why his job was to conquer the known world. Keep reading.
The Med died 100 and
born 215 BC.
Born C215 BC, died 164. Sabine, Iran, seclude king of the Hellenistic Syrians, like the Syrian kingdom, who reigned from 175 to 164 BC. As a ruler, he was best known for his encouragement of Greek culture.
Of what culture?
Greek culture.
Of what culture?
Greek culture. And institutions he attempted to suppress Judaism, fought on the wars of Maccabees.
Now, this not in our book. That's in the Encyclopedia Britannica. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for those that say the Bible has nothing to do with history, this is in the Encyclopedia Britannica. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got Wikipedia today, but back in the day when we had to do book reports, every black family had the Encyclopedia in Britannica in their house. The whole collection, the whole volume. You understand? All right. Okay, go to the next page, Yashar. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you what it say. The next page starts off as Antiochus force settled in an Egyptian expedition. You got it?
Antiochus forestalled an Egyptian expedition to Palestine by invading Egypt. He defeated the Egyptians between Pelusium and Mount Kashan, conquered Pelusium in 1669.
No, 169.
Like 169. Occupied Egypt with the expedition of Alexander, the capital.
Ptolemy
the sixth.
Yes.
Was Antiochus' nephew.
Now Ptolemy the sixth was Antiochus' nephew. Okay, watch this. Keep reading.
Was Antiochus' nephew. Antiochus' sister, Cleopatra.
Was who?
Damn.
Cleopatra.
Was who?
Cleopatra.
Was who?
Cleopatra. I had married.
No, Cleopatra the first.
Okay, yeah. The first had married Ptolemy the fifth.
Had married who?
Ptolemy the fifth.
Now, understand this. First and foremost, all those that used to get mad back in the day talking about they misrepresented Cleopatra as white women. No, they didn't. They had that spot on. Cleopatra is a white woman. You understand? She is the sister of Antiochus, right? And her husband is Ptolemy, right? So when Ptolemy came down to Egypt, Ptolemy was the emperor and ruler over Egypt, right? You understand? And his wife, Cleopatra, was the queen of Egypt. Okay. So, and that's Antiochus' sister. So Antiochus feels that he should have natural reign over the entire world. But Ptolemy was like, say, homeboy, you know what I'm saying? This is my kingdom down here, partner. You know what I'm saying? Now, yeah, I'm married to your sister, but this is my house. You got your house, this is my house, right? So the war between Antiochus and Egypt had nothing to do. It was a family feud.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead, Yashar.
So Ptolemy the sixth was his nephew, right?
That's his nephew. That's Cleopatra and Ptolemy the fifth son. You understand? After Alexander the Great conquered Egypt and the burning of the Library of Alexandria in Egypt, okay, the people that ruled Egypt after that time was the Ptolemies and the Cleopatra. So you had Ptolemy, I think it's like 8 or 9 Ptolemies, and it's like the same number of Cleopatras, right? It was really like some incest stuff. You understand? Like sons were literally marrying, like brothers and sisters were getting married. That's how disgusting it was. It was incest. It lets you know how disgusting these people are, man. You know what I'm saying? They are incestuous, sodomite, naked aerobic pirates. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, brother. Sexual deviant pirates. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And if I may, sir, like that's how you know, like that's like we look at each other as family, knowing the truth. Like all the 12 tribes, like we all are the children of the Lord. So we look at everyone as brothers and sisters. So we don't have to hunger for the power. We know that the power belongs to the Lord, and He gonna appoint it as it sees fit. But they trying to hold on to power so much, they not trying to. They gonna sleep with their brothers and fathers and sisters and just be sexual deviant. Like,
now this explains like if you read up on Egyptian mummification and stuff like that, a lot of the mummies that they found buried in tomb like had birth defects. You know what I'm saying? Like a lame limb, a missing hand, but all that has to do with incest, inbreeding. Go ahead. And a tail. You know what I'm saying? And a tail. You feel me? All of that has to do with inbreeding. Those are all byproducts of inbreeding. All right, let's keep reading. All right, where it said had married Ptolemy the fifth.
And Antiochus contented himself ruling Egypt as Ptolemy's guardian.
As who?
Ptolemy's guardian. Giving Rome no excuse for intervention.
See, this is why it's the Greco-Roman Empire, right? Because after the fall of Alexander the Great, which is the Greek Empire, right? Antiochus is really the beginning of the Roman Empire because he was in league with the Romans to spread his conquest, all right, or known as Idumea. Okay. All right, keep reading.
Over Rome, no excuses for intervention. The citizens of Alexandria, however, appealed to Ptolemy
the eighth.
The brother of Ptolemy the sixth, and his sister Cleopatra II, to form a rival government.
Disturbances
in Palestine, forces Antiochus to return to Syria, but he safeguarded his access to Egypt with a strong garrison in Pelusium.
Yes. All right. Now let's go back to First Maccabees. All right. I think you were at verse 6. Yeah, go ahead. So we're doing this to show you how the Bible is lining up directly with history, and this is only the first chapter of the book of Maccabees. All right, keep reading.
This is the book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 17. So I guess First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 17. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude with chariots, elephants, and horsemen, and a great navy. Verse 18. And made war against Ptolemy.
Made war against who?
Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Verse 19. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. Verse 20. And after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude. Verse 21. And he entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof.
All right, now stop. Now this is a pop quiz. All right. Now, what empire were we under before the Greek Empire? He has his hand up first. Go ahead, Dwar, y'all.
The Persians and the Medes?
Khan, the Persians and the Medes, right? So we were under the Persians and the Medes. Why did they have their cisterns? Why do they have their incense? Why do they have their candle holders? If we were under slavery of another empire, why did this is a pop quiz to see if you know the Bible. All right, it's in the Apocrypha and it's in the Old Testament. I'm gonna give you a hint. It's in the Apocrypha. It's in First Esdras. Go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Darius that allowed the rebuild of Jerusalem.
Under who?
Under Nehemiah.
Mm-mm.
I think it was Daniel.
Nope. No. Who did King Darius? Okay, I'm gonna give you a hint. In the Apocrypha, it was a story of what's stronger, right? You know, one was saying strong drink, the other one said a woman, right? And then the other one said it was the truth, right? Who was the person that said it was the truth? He was an Israelite, by the way. He was talking to King Darius. And when I say the name, you're going to be like, oh, damn. So remember, under the Persian Empire was allowed to rebuild the temple of the Most High God. It's a story that Captain Yazdak tells all the time. When I tell y'all the name, y'all going to be like, oh, my God. Nope. Wasn't Daniel. Daniel didn't rebuild the temple. Nope.
I know you're talking about it.
I'm going to give you one more guess before I tell you.
Wait.
No. Wait. One more guess. Study long, study wrong. It was Zerubbabel. You understand? So that lets you know time period. Like it ain't that far off. Like how you thinking like these people live thousands of years away from each other? Somebody Google the time of the Persian Empire and the time of the Greek Empire. Somebody look that up for me. Go ahead.
What was his other name?
No, that was his name, Zerubbabel. Yeah. That was the one that says you have no lot in building this temple with me and my people. Right, and that's when they tried to cripple their hands with the permits and all that stuff. Yeah.
You said the time for me, right?
Mm-hmm. Somebody give me the go ahead. Go what you got, YAHANNA?
This is the Google. I Google searched it. I don't want.
Okay.
The Persian Empire, also known as the Achaemenid Empire, lasted from approximately 559 BCE to 331 BCE.
Okay. What about the Greek Empire? When did the Greek Empire start? So that's 300 years. Okay. So that's a lifetime of 3 people. It's not a long time. Okay. It's a lifetime of 3 people. Okay. Exactly. Right. There you go. Now you thinking. Like the Persian Empire is just shy of the lifetime of America. All right. Now give me the Greek Empire. When did the Greek Empire start?
The civilization of ancient Greece emerged in the light of history in the 8th century BC. Normally, it is regarded as the coming to the end when Greece fell to the Romans in 146 BC.
Give me better yet, give me the time of Alexander the Great. That was the beginning of the Greek Empire. Give me the time of Alexander the Great. So we're gonna give you time frame. All right. So the Persian Empire, their rule was shorter than the time of America. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? All right, give me. All right, you got it?
Sir.
What is it?
Alexander the Great, also known as Alexander the Third or Alexander of Macedonia, died in June 13th, 323 BCE.
Look at that. You understand? You see what I'm saying? So it ain't that big a time difference, right? So they got so this is how the story went in order, right? So you had King Darius give the order, right? And then the magistrates that were under King Darius was like, well, Salakia, sir, you can't give them that order, because if you give them all of their artifacts and allow them to rebuild Jerusalem, they're going to incite an insurrection and a rebellion. So King Darius shut it down. But when King Darius died and his son Artaxerxes took over, which lets you know this is the end of the Persian Empire, okay? Artaxerxes is the one that allows Zerubbabel to rebuild the temple, right? So this is closer between the 200 to 345 BCE, okay? So this is like right next to each other. All right. So this lets you know, like, the time in the Bible, it really wasn't that long ago. You understand? Give me how long, give me the time of the Roman Empire. And like, these were great societies, man. Like, to know that the Persian Empire didn't last longer than America, that lets you know that America ain't far from falling. Go ahead, Doc.
390, the fall of the Western Roman Empire, 395 AD.
Okay, so the Persian Empire ruled for 300 years. The Greco-Roman Empire didn't even last 200 years, and it fell. You understand? So what does that say about America? We close to the end. You understand? All right. Okay. All right. So all right, keep reading where you were in the Apocrypha. When they were given, I think we were at 21.
Okay, don't come, sir. Verse 22.
Okay, go ahead.
Verse 22. And the table of the showbread and the pouring vessels and the vials. Sorry, and the
He said, "Write the vials, the censers of gold."
No, I gotta pause for a second. And the censers of gold and the veil and the crown and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, which he pulled off. Verse 23. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. Verse 24. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre.
A great what?
A great massacre.
A great what?
Massacre.
You said it right.
A massacre. And spoken very proudly.
You understand? They was having Thanksgiving back then. You understand? For those that watched last week's class, you understand? Thanksgiving was about any time they had a massacre of your people. You understand? He massacred the Israelites, raided the temple of the Most High God, spoke proudly of it, went back to his house and threw a party. They was having Thanksgiving back then. just to show you how old this spirit that you're allowing your children and your family to celebrate, and how toxic and demoralizing it is to not only you, but the spirit of your ancestors. Go ahead. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's to destroy your family.
Right.
It's to destroy your kids. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 25. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were. Verse 26. So that the princes and the elders mourned the virgins, the young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women were changed.
You understand? It's no different than from today. You understand? Like the strength of the young men became feeble, right? How is the strength of the young man become feeble today? How? Go ahead.
Like, sir, because they don't have any connection with the older generations of their past and their heritage. So they pick up the heritage of the oppressor, they adopt their customs, and they lose connection with who they people are.
Make it simpler. Like tied into like current events. YAHANNA.
So like out of one, I was gonna say drugs, the impact of drugs on
Yeah, that's one way. All right. I'll give you another way. All right. Did anybody follow the trial of George Floyd? A little bit. Y'all remember that black dude that was getting into it with the Asian police officer, called him a coward. And if you would do that to me, I'll show you what a real man is. You remember that? They had that like little excerpt of what, like, he was asking him questions. He's like, did you call him this? Did you call him? He's like, yeah, I said it. You know what I'm saying? That brother was a trained martial artist. With all of his strength, he stood, sat there and watched George Floyd die. He sat there and watched for 8 minutes a police officer kneel on his brother's neck. As strong as he was feeble. He was weak. He had no strength to save his brother. Either he would have just ran over there and like jumped at the cop, and if the cop would have flinched, it would have gave pressure off of George Floyd's neck for him to take a breath so he can live just a little bit longer. You understand? That's how the strength of the young men become feeble. You understand? You sit there and watch your brother get gunned down by the cops, and you have strength to do nothing. You don't have the strength to save your sons. You can't save a Trayvon Martin. You can't save a Alton Sterling. You can't save a Philando Castile. You can't save an Ahmaud Arbery because you're feeble. You understand? And it says the beauty of our women has become changed. How's the beauty of our women become changed? Because they envy their oppressor. You want to weaken your hair by straightening it, dyeing it, you understand? To look like your oppressor. When your hair naturally defines gravity. Theirs don't. Go ahead, Shaw. You know what I'm saying? Like what you need breast reduction for? I don't know about y'all, man. I'd ask any brother here. Hey, Ron, you like breast? You sure you like breast? You know what I'm saying? I like breast too. You know what I'm saying? You ask any black man, Hispanic man, a Native American in America, be like, what you need a reduction for? You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like you out here doing all of this wickedness to your body, marring your body when the Lord already gave you it. You know what I'm saying? You out here trying to look like a blow-up doll when the blow-up dolls they trying to imitate are the glorious dolls. the daughters of the Most High, the daughters of Zion. You understand? The things they do to their body, the Botox they put in their lips, you know what I'm saying, to make their lips full is to imitate you. The reason why they get implants in their breasts to make their breasts more fuller is to look like you. Because you nurtured their children. You understand? Their children supple from your breast, not their own. You understand? The reason why they getting butt shots is because they want to look like you. But you scar your body even more because you're trying to keep up with them. What they doing it, I'm going to do it times 2 of what they doing. And you out here looking like boo-boo the fool. You understand? 20 years down the line when these bags busting inside of your body, giving you cancer, or you got cement butt. And they got to literally cut it up out of you. Now you got saddlebag butt. Your butt dragging. You know what I'm saying? Because you destroyed your body. And then after your body is destroyed, you wish you had the body that you had originally when you never had to do it in the first place. You understand? Go ahead, brother. Bro, you saw that post they got going around? The world will never know who this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to think about it. I was like, man, bro, Lil' Kim was beautiful, bro. Beautiful. She looked, I mean, well, the brothers that came to the cookout, that came to 50-15, you saw how Lil' Kim look now. You like, what is that up there? You understand? And she hates herself so much. You understand? Like, she was so envious of her oppressor, she tried to make herself look lighter because it went to a colorism thing because she thought Biggie favored Faith because she was light-skinned. You know what I'm saying? See how wicked this is, bro? Like, your enemy has Hellenized your mind. You understand? And I'm going to close it with Yeshua's statement. Hellenization is American nation. In this American nation. You know what I'm saying? And with that, we're going to say Amajim, which means to stand. All right. Sar. Turn the face to east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer. First in Hebrew. Then in English, repeat after me. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Balat with Ka. Taba'ab. Ratazayaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'aratazah. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Natalanawa. Laham. Call. Yawam. Wasalaknawa. Kabawaknawa. Kasalaknawa. Kabawakinawa. Wala'a. Tabi'ainawa. Banashayawan. Abal. Hawashainawa. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha'ala. Wahata Parak. La Awalamyam. Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, turn your face to front. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers, then to the sisters. May the visual, my Shabbat, Baju, Rock, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahshua, brother, Thah. Y'all the top. Sar, turn your face, sister. May the visual, my Shabbat, Baju, Rock, Yahweh, Shabbat, Thah, Bashim, Yahshua. Y'all the top. Dismiss.